Aura Celeste here. I want to do a weekly reading for the week of August 2nd. The monthly readings on the Intuit Aura YouTube channel, they will be not postponed, but there'll be a couple more postings for today and also towards the end of the week for the remaining signs. Those videos are running about 45 minutes or so on average because the messages are so much more intense, and it's more than just a physical level. It's picking up etheric aspects. There's like this gray area that I'm seeing, because we have, the readers that I'm seeing are either picking up higher dimensional aspects of the collective, and then the others are picking up the very dense 3D aspect. And it's like I'm in the in-between where I can see this and I can see that. So it's about broadening that middle space where this gray area is going through its own how do I say, like a purification mode where it's not just blah and bland and gray, not overcast, but it's silver. So there's an awareness, a consciousness, a shine to it. It really does have a lot of value. So instead of looking at this black area, this white area, this dark shadowy area, this bright positive area, we're in the present, and we're just expanding, paving that road so we can clearly see where the end is and where the other end is, So on both aspects of this same scale, you have to be very present where you are and start to etch and really define the area that you're in the present moment. Therefore, you can look at the past and you can look towards the future as well. Once you solution the things of the past, you have answers for problems that are current or coming. A lot of these things are cyclical and patterned, especially for those who are coming up on their Saturn returns. That 28 to 30 mark, and then the 30 to 33 mark, there's like, not only does Saturn come back into the sign it was when you were born, around that 28-year mark, but it stays in that sign until you're about 30 or so. And then it transitions into the next sign, and you're still not paying, but getting in line with Saturn's program. They're really going to bring up certain things, dealing with karma, solutioning things, but also bringing things to light about your own self, about your own structure, problems that have persisted, patterning, paternal issues. The moon is constantly doing its rotation and its cycles, and those energies are more maternal and more present. So you'll see, even in our everyday life, or how it relates to parentage. And I'm not speaking on this present moment, how the society handles parentage, but the mother is usually the one that is doing more of the nurturing, more of the rearing, more of the growing of whatever child they have, whatever offspring they have, even in the wild. It is not the father that is doing these things. They provide a certain stability and a certain structure. And that's Saturn versus what the moon energy would do. There is Saturn appearing here. So for the next 7 days, I'm just going to give some general energies. And these energies can mend together. You can feel them approach before they come. It is not specific to the date itself. It's just influence. You have felt every single emotion that is in these cards, or every single energy that is within these cards. And there's 78 of them. They're variations and they're degrees, and quite literally aligned with different decans and placements. So some will feel it more so than others. But if you can identify where you are, what you feel, you can get a little more specific. If you know nothing about astrology, nothing about tarot, that's all right too, because I do go in depth and I do explain. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. And it does feel that there's something long overdue, a moment of refreshment. It could even be somebody quite literally having a drink, or taking a load off and reflecting while having a drink. Some tea, some rum, some coffee, whatever it may be. Even if it is a glass of water, there could also be a sense of releasing emotions that have been long overdue. But this is a feeling of surrender, satisfaction even, with I'm okay where I am. I'm grateful. I'm in much appreciation at this moment. It's really reflecting on where a person is stability wise, as well as security wise. In oneself, like to feel secure and to know that this is something that they have created, that they have done, that they have put a lot of energy and work into and taken care of. There's a moment of giving oneself gratitude or admiration, or really just patting yourself on the back for that. So in the beginning of the week, Monday, everybody just hates Mondays, right? And here's the Nine of Swords and the Five of Cups. There is a feeling that begins the week. And I feel that it's a lot about, when I was speaking on the moon phase, the weekend has had this Leo and Taurus influence. The moon being in Taurus, the sun being in Leo. And those are two fixed signs. Okay. Well, with these two energies popping up for Monday's energy on the 2nd, this could be around the transition where the moon goes into Gemini. And now the mind starts to race a mile a minute, thinking about all the things, missed opportunities, broken bonds, things that you can't come back from. And it serves a purpose only because through the transition of the week, and as the moon goes all the way through its cycle up until this full moon in Aquarius that we're going to have. Well, we're going to have the new moon in Leo first. This is coming up on that, and that whole Lionsgate energy, where it's more amplified with the double 8 energy. There has to be this moment of reflection, because you have to give something in this alignment that's happening at this moment. There is something that you have to give. And it is bringing my mind back to the 2017 eclipse that was in Leo season, when Leo and Aquarius were doing their thing and really doing that dance. I do feel that it is something 4 years, 3 to 5 years in the making. but I feel like 4 is that average. 9 minus 5 is 4. That's where I'm getting 4 from anyway. But yeah, this could also be 2 people stuck in this type of energy. And I say stuck meaning there's a link between these two. Their heads are very similar as far as position. What's occurring within these two is a little different though. One is taking on emotional guilt and almost punishment of oneself. And the other can feel it, but it's coming through in the mental state. And it's really causing a sense of upheaval. If you look here, it's like energy being, there's like 2 people here, 2 figures here. And the energy is kind of coming towards another person. And that's kind of the impression that I'm getting here, that one person is affecting the other. The way that this person is thinking or worrying or replaying events in their mind, this person is feeling what's happened to them mentally. They're feeling it emotionally. Their backgrounds differ. They're the opposites of each other, quite literally. Black cloak, white gown, black background, gray background. So it doesn't even matter the distance. It doesn't matter the closeness geographically. They are linked and one affects the other. So knowing this, if someone that you love is heavy on your mind, they feel the effect of what it does to you mentally. They're feeling it emotionally. Okay? And it's almost a sense that all is lost, but it's no finality here. It's just that the mental process has gotten to the epitome of how dense and how dark and how problematic that it's going to be. It's going to take this person here to change their mind in order to change this situation here. So if you're stalling and you're caught in this mental downpour of thoughts and things like that, because it could also be their feelings that come to you mentally and cause this repetition of thought, of question, of doubt, of whatever it may be. It's because a person has a varying degree of grief or shame or guilt that raises these types of questions within your energy. Okay, so if you know that thoughts become things and the way that you feel can be transferred, because it is energy, it can't be destroyed, it can be transferred. Quite literally, these swords do not end, they're just transferred. You don't see the ends of these swords. So where do they go? Where do they lead? Both heads are bowed in a defeatist type of energy. A person is tired of feeling like this and another person is tired of thinking about this. Okay, so that is an energy that will come to the forefront on Monday. So if you're hit with a bout of low emotional response or apathy, because I do see the 4 of Cups here, if you're hit with that at all, just understand that somebody else may be stressing beyond belief mentally, because they just cannot seem to find a solution to problems that they've created in their own mind. And you're feeling it. It seems like it's like not even one to deal with it, because it's too much. It's too much to even consider what these 3 cups meant and how they felt. How did that ball get dropped? How did this occur? How did this happen? And it's these questions that one's own mind has created that there's seemingly no viable solution to. Nothing feels like it's confirmation. Nothing feels like it is resolution or closure to these questions. And it's because it's been contrived and it's been made up in the mind. It wasn't even your question to begin with. These are things that are intercepted by someone else that you're connected to. So on Tuesday, we have the Lovers and we have the World. Good gracious. So this is a very, very drastic turnaround in the third, Tuesday the 3rd. There's a drastic turnaround in the energy. We have the choice and we have the ending, the finality here. So when it comes to that 9 being the end and the epitome of a cycle, the decision, the choice, the Lovers here, it's like the whole reason why Monday's energy is so prominent is because the person feels split in two. So when it comes down to the choice, it's what will I feel most whole in? What would make me feel more complete? Like I'm satisfying both my desire and, my needs and my desires at the same time. That's really what the choice is about. A need for sustenance, but also a desire for meaning, understanding, knowledge, right? This is that differentiation. This is that choice that ultimately gives us that free will to choose as we please. And a lot of people go for, what they need, what they think they need, but what they desire starts to falter. We have this 9 of Swords, 5 of Cups type of energy that would occur. And it takes people to actually go through that type of energy in order to get back to this space to make a different choice, to make another choice. They've seen where one choice leads and it is unfavorable. There is no end. It's just repetition. It's a deja vu. It keeps going around and around and around, and it seems never to end. But choosing the other choice, there is an outcome. There is a point or a goal attached to the other choice, where the other thing had nothing gets achieved by it. Lots of lessons learned, but no achievement, no upgrade in lifestyle, no satisfaction, no, and I won't say no as in it never can. I would say it isn't to occur that way. It's paved a certain way where there is going to be pitfalls and loopholes and booby traps. It is geared to influence a person to choose what they actually do want versus what they are designed to feel they need, based on tradition, based on logic, based on the desires of others. So this is about one's own choice that actually does lead them somewhere where there's a finish line. Okay, this is a laurel wreath, and it has a lot to do with success and succession. And it's sitting here appointed with these guardians. This is a total of 5 guardians sitting here. The same guardians that are trying to get a person out of this 5 of Cups energy. Wednesday, August 4th. 5 of Wands, Page of Cups. There is a solution being offered, a kind of truce even, where energies seem to be a little tumultuous. There's something that you can add to a situation, a caveat or a suggestion even, a kind word or even a joke or so that may lighten the mood. It seems like the tensions are high and people may be overworked and scrambling or feeling rushed in a way, especially when it comes to the workplace. This could even be a resolution to a long-standing bout that you've witnessed others have. You could be involved here and someone else says something that kind of snaps you out of this feeling of tension and intensity. Like you remember all of a sudden, like where you are, why you're here, and it gives you a clear thinking space to kind of reel it back in. Like this isn't why I'm here. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to argue. I don't want to feel tense. I don't want to walk on eggshells around anyone. And so I'm going to lighten the mood. I'm going to tell a joke. I'm going to, you know, change the vibe of the situation or of the place so it can be handled in different energy, in a different way. I want to take a moment to look back at Tuesday. Pulling from underneath the deck, I have the Eight of Cups to confirm this energy. I just want to show that so you understand. With Wednesday's energy, you actually take the lead by doing this. You show that you're made of more than, you're capable, very capable of being in competition or being in this workplace environment and strutting your stuff and showing your peacock feathers and really proving that you are top dog or no more, or people can learn from you. But instead of expressing that part of your ego, you're using something very lighthearted to extinguish the situation. And they don't see you as a threat because of it. They also don't see you as a person who is competing with them or vying for the attention that they are. So they receive you differently than the nature that you actually possess, because you don't see it necessary to flaunt or to flex or to argue this position. You're actually just showing up as you are, but you're showing them a side of you that lets them know this isn't a battle to win. This isn't something that I'm fighting for, but I'm here, I'm active, I'm working, I'm doing, I'm, presenting myself. Because the King of Wands is not competing against anyone else. They're improving themselves. And this is a lesson that you're actually teaching. Whether they know it or not, they're kind of, this on-the-job training type of vibe is really just people paying attention to what you're doing. You are being the example and you're leading in that way just by being who you are. You have full capability to compete and win, but you're not using your power to compete. So here we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Two of Wands. This is Thursday, the 5th. Scouting, new opportunities. It could be even a new way to make money. Maybe you come across an idea, or you're refining an idea that you already have, getting a little more detailed or being more specific. If you do look at a globe, it is so big, it's so round, it's spherical. There is so many different points on this globe. And you could do something very random, spin it and put your finger in a specific place. And that is the starting point. So even when it comes to a subject matter that you're already dealing with, there's so many different ways that you can take this thing. There's so many ways to build on this, to expound on this. And you're getting very specific. So you at least have a point A to begin with. You don't know what B is if you don't know what A is. So this is about going ahead and assessing and making sure that you're choosing something very specific to target in order to build it, in order to, make it whole, make it solid. This is just the start. This is just the beginning. It's like wanting to build a house, but before you can even lay a foundation, you have to find the land. You have to know what location it's going to be in. You have to know if it's even for sale. These are things that you would have to look into and research and get more information on. But just the idea of beginning something, what's the next step? That's pretty much where this Ace of Pentacles is coming in, because all these ideas are good ideas that may have run through your mind. But what have you actually gone step by step by step by step in order to create? It may be a scattered energy, and it may just now click that it has to be a little more refined in order to come to succession, to come into that being and come into that physical manifestation where you can take yourself to the next level. We have the Tower here. So this could also be, again, having to move, or things needing to be prepared within the home. And it's like, well, who do you call first? Or if there's some accident, or there's something that is malfunctioning, or there's something drastic that happens to the home. It's like, now you have to put on your thinking cap. Now the race is on. Now these new opportunities are making themselves known, because now you need them. Now you need them. So before, even if you would have come across these ideas or come across this concept, it may not have moved you or jarred you in any kind of way to actually take action on it. But it seems now the choices are limited. So now your horizons are broadened, and you're really having to put on that thinking cap and think outside of these four walls, the box itself. So this is mind expansion in order to expand a lifestyle and a way of living. It's something also may occur where you have to make a split-second decision. You know that it will change your life, but the risk is not as dangerous, is not as it's not as much risky as it is rewarding. I think it's just very much about things about to change drastically, and if a person's uncomfortable with change, this will be a very difficult situation for them. But if a person can adapt to change, and they can assimilate to the new way things need to go, and they can get into that routine, then this won't be as traumatic for them. But you find out some piece of information, or you're getting this this offer, or you have this opportunity here, and it does have potential to take you very far, but it means that something else is no longer the same because of it. And I don't think you mind. I honestly don't. August 6th, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This is Friday. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th. This is Friday. I'm getting a little confused. I'm sorry. We have the Knight of Swords and the Seven of Swords. And it's giving me vibes of communicating in a particular direction and really moving forward with plans. And this could also piggyback on some of the other decisions that have been made earlier this week, or energies that have come through, and you're really just keeping quiet about it. You may, if this is a public presence or so, you're giving a little and you're withholding much, and that's because these things have somewhere to be. This piece of information belongs to whatever it is you're relaying, right? So you're a little more reserved about what you're giving and what you're sharing. So you could be seen as secretive at this time. You could be seen as being manipulative, or being fake, or dishonest, or any of the sort. And the thing is, you're being more calculated with how you use your energy, or how you use your communication. We all have the same amount of hours in a day, but whatever is happening here, you have more enthusiasm towards whatever venture this is than where you have been. And you're giving that momentum elsewhere, right? You're finding it easier to communicate in this direction, or to move your mental energy in this direction, and trailblaze, and actually pioneer and move towards other things that are like you, or other things that suit you or fit where you are. This is a court card. So if people are still in 2 of Swords, 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords, and they're carrying this lower manifestation of mental energy and communication, you're actually going somewhere where the flow is a lot easier to go through. Because if you take a look at this card, there are people in the background. There's these, how these tents, like, it reminds me of a circus. So you're removing yourself from this circus energy, not my monkeys, not my circus. One monkey don't stop no show type of vibe. you're really leaving. You're removing any input, any advice, any conversation that you may have been giving, and you're keeping it light, a little here, a little there, and they really don't know what to make of it. But if they're in the places that you're intending to be, if they're in the vibe that you're actually intending to be in, they would meet you there. They would be there where you are. It has nothing to do with intentionally trying to keep them out or keep them at bay. If they're intended to be a part of where your energy is headed when it comes to communication, when it comes to networking, when it comes to just Gemini energy, the neighbors, siblings, short distance travel, things of that nature. If they're aligned with you, they wouldn't be on this end of the Seven of Swords. They would be where you're headed with the Knight of Swords. But this person is traveling alone. There's no one they're taking with them. This really is a private venture. This is something that they're doing for themselves. And the card at the bottom of the deck to confirm, we have Seven of Cups. They really don't know what's going on. They don't know what you're doing. So everything seems secretive and mysterious, but it's just personal. Not everybody's entitled to that part of your life, and that's okay. As long as they understand, they don't have any input. You're not asking for any either. Saturday, we have the Death card and the Star. I apologize for the heavy sign. It's just like a burden has been released here with this very heavy energy at the beginning of the week. These cycles that are wrapping up, these new decisions and new directions that are being chosen, different ways of handling oneself. So finally, just allowing it to, it's been resonating in the energy that the end is here, that the end is now. But it also signifies that hope is in the beginning. Knowing and coming into that knowing that if something's ending, something is beginning simultaneously. And it kind of eases that energy of where this tower sat and that Nine of Swords. It's kind of looking back at it and giving it over to the star itself. It's like, well, if I could have everything that I've wanted, everything that I desire, also having all my needs met, is the ending really that bad? This is that kind of question. Everything I thought I knew, everything I thought that I had, it's like, what really matters at this point? What was I really holding on to? What was I getting rid of? What was I really giving up? And ultimately, you can look at this and say, well, for the longest, holding on to something or being a part of something, you were giving up your sense of freedom, your sense of satisfaction, your sense of safety, security. The thing, you weren't necessarily comfortable in them. And this is why things had to change, because what you want weighs more than what you had, or weighs less than what you had. So you're traveling light and you're starting to make room. And it's like, okay, now I see that light at the end of the tunnel. I see why it makes sense. So it's a coming into understanding of, hey man, it's time to take a break though. It's like a remission. Finally realizing like, oh, well damn, that is the end. It really is over. Okay, and what's next? Okay, we'll take a break. Just pause a little bit. This is that place where you recover. This is that place where you're in suspense only because everything outside of you it's like time stops for a moment. Everything else is still moving except for you. You have this promise of newness. You have this promise of new cycle and new beginning. But on the heels of an ending, you really need to take the time to just recover and take this break. So when it comes to you actually creating or doing something or exerting your energy, you may be prompted to pause. And that's not a bad thing. It's just you need to see what the value of this change was all about when I spoke on it. For people who are afraid of change, this experience would be very jarring. But for people who have experienced just change after change after change after shift, they're getting used to that process. Beginning, doing, nearing the end itself, take a break, start again. You know what I mean? So even if something begins as soon as something ends, there is still a withdrawal, a remission, and a releasing of that type of energy, because everything else has to register this ending, not just your physical mind, but also your heart space and your spiritual space and these bodies of energy that surround you. You really start to have to shift and get acclimated to your new atmosphere and see life as you know it without those things that are gone now, that are no longer here. So for Sunday, the 8th, Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords, we have the Three of Swords. And again, this is where you get very clear about what you've actually been holding on to. And it has been the idea of what love is, or things that you thought you loved or really thought you enjoyed, or connections that are no longer valid. It's just that same withdrawal energy, but now it's on a minor scale. The major work has already been done on your behalf. We have Scorpio energy, we have Aquarian energy, we have Neptunian energy, and these are the major players towards the end of our solar system. The way that they move and the way that they shift things, it's been long drawn out and meticulous. Certain things had to align for these energies to come up together in this way. So the influence, the way that they've moved from degree to degree, have all been leading up to this point. So now the Death card is joining this Four of Pentacles, having to actually let something go. The Star is aligning with this Ace of Swords, actually being clear about what you want and desire and how much that means to you. Because that is the ultimate truth. The truth is headed straight towards you with the Four of Pentacles, as far as what needs to go in order for you to expand and open your arms to embrace other opportunities and new things and make room. So you do have to release something in order to have your hands open to receive even this Ace of Pentacles as it comes in. Your stars start to look more clear. The things that you desire start to really come into view, and it starts to make sense that you've been actually sitting in a place of what you thought you knew no longer being the truth. And this is what is hard, a very difficult position to be in, because no one puts you here. You put yourself here and marinate on this type of energy here. So what you thought you felt as heartbreak is really the thought of what you no longer have in your environment. But at the end of it all, we do have this Ace of Cups and Queen of Pentacles to really seek in the value of everything, and really just looking at it like, wow, I really went through something and I'm still standing here. I'm still whole. I still have who I am. That's a lot. So it's the overall energy. We have Nine of Wands, Page of Wands, and 10 of Wands. You know when something approaches you, if it is for your highest good, you know that taking on something extra, this Page of Wands, if the 10 of Wands is here, this is a sense of burden and overwhelmment, and you're very familiar with what that feels like. So as this message approaches you, you know if you take it on and accept it, you can acknowledge it and know that it's there. But you know if you take it on that you may be accepting the burdens of others while you're here inundated with your own things to take care of and still continue to drive forward. So it's asking you to be careful and take into account what you've actually accomplished thus far, how you feel about it, and is it worth it? So there's a big lesson here about worth, value, foresight. Towards the end of the week, you will see judgment here. You will have a decision to make in regards to this. It's like, do you accept this or do you reject it? That really is the question, because in accepting it, you're knowingly taking on the burdens of others. And by rejecting it, you may not be rejecting the person, but the experience. And it's asking you, if you do have room for this, what will that cause? That will cause a ripple in everything else around you on a personal level. So are you willing to take on this burden? Are you, and I'll say burden lightly, are you ready to take on somebody who has a lot of responsibilities of their own? Where are you with that? Is this Ace of Cups the point of influence? Because if you're stable juggling all your things, or taking care of all your things, and someone comes with more things, do you have room? This could literally be somebody moving in with you. This could literally be somebody else needing your space. I have the King of Swords, Eight of Pentacles. There's strictness about the way one works and the way that they do things. And then we have the Queen of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. It is an offer. It's an offer to work. So in consideration, it's like, do you want to take on this work? You know that the way that you work and the way that someone else works is two different styles. They're usually by themselves. They work a little differently, coming up with this Queen of Swords energy. They have their own way of doing things. And they're bringing this sense of work towards you to appeal to your emotional nature, because they know how passionate you are about the things that you're working on. And that would give me this Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Cups vibe with this Queen of Cups sitting here. And they know how you work. And it's repetition, and it's many things. It's trades, abilities, your craft, your art. It's something that you do repetitiously, that you do all the time. That is your focal point. So with them coming in, they do have something to offer, and they're asking with their hand outstretched if you'll accept the notion of working with them. Maybe they're trying to perfect a skill or trying to become an apprentice of some sort. And by doing so, if you take this on, if you take this leap of faith and accept, you now have the Nine of Pentacles, but you also have a partnership. You also have somebody that you're teaming up with. They're in business. Definitely with King of Swords and Queen of Swords, this has to make sense. It has to make logical sense. But it also brings a sense of practicality, because they are coming with pentacles, and you already are working with your many pentacles as it is. So it has to be, they have to meet you where you are. You can't reduce yourself and simmer yourself down in order to meet them where they are. So this is what's appealing to your emotional nature, because it not only still gives you this sense of freedom and accomplishment and stability, which the Queen of Pentacles values so much, but it is a change, and it is something new, something unexpected. And it also has this combined energy. By doing this, you take on not only an intellectual partner, but you take on somebody who can bring something solid. So it may feel quite like this. And this is why I said to carefully consider. And I didn't say that it was necessarily a burden, but it's their responsibilities or the things that they have. They may not know what to do with it, but you have yours standing up and stationary, quite firm. And this is what they're seeing. This is what they're noticing and witnessing. And this is why they're trying to come to you in that energy that you know you can understand. They know that you can understand. They're not divulging the girth of their responsibilities, but they know that you're a person who knows how to manage them. So they're coming in for either assistance, and they're trying to inquire about things, or ask for your guidance on something. They could be employing your services, but at the same time have a level of respect and want to work with you. So just be mindful and keep your mind open at this time, and to allow this Nine of Swords energy to start to loosen itself throughout the week. By the time you do get to Sunday, there will be more of a, it'll be like very watered down, the experience that have just run rampant throughout the week, and not in a negative way either. It will be less dramatic, it'll be less serious than what it initially felt like. It's illusionary to feel that it will last very, very long. This mental energy and this emotional energy that kind of begins the week, this apathy gets turned around when you understand there is a bigger purpose for these minute energies that have been littering the week. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys later.